Hello, my name is Donald R. McKinney, and once again, I'm coming to you with the simple, plain truth. And this segment of the simple, plain truth, we're talking about sex. That's right, sex. Now, I'm only going to briefly cover some sexual situations in this conversation. If you want to know more or get a little more in depth about sex and how to have better sex and how to simplify it, whether you want to talk to your children or talk to your mate, or if you just want to see someone else's opinion on it, you can find my book on Amazon.com. It's called How to Solve 99% of Life's Problems by Donald R. McKinney. Once again, you can find it at Amazon.com. It covers many subjects, whether it's sex, relationships, diet, exercise, children, co-workers, many different subjects as well. It's a good read, and at 99 cents, everybody can afford it. All right. I call this the simple plain truth because I like to cut through all of the niceties, I guess you would say, and get right to the point. So let's do that, shall we? All right. First off, sex. It's not rocket science, so don't get taken by all of the things that you have heard about it. It's not complicated. Generally, it takes a man and a woman to do it, but you know, obviously we live in a more modern age, and so to each his own. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. Um, what can I say? It starts with two people who care or like each other at least. From there, you go to the, I guess, whatever phases that you go through, whether it's dating, getting to know each other, I don't know. Next, you move to the intimacy, and that's what we're here to discuss, right? Sex. All right. It's not rocket science. Once again, it's quite simple. But the interesting thing about it is a lot of people struggle with it because, one, they don't give it the respect that it's due. And what I mean by that is if you are going to have sex or are having sex or intend to have sex with someone, regardless of what the sex of that person is, you have to make sure that you address it with the respect that it deserves. Okay? And once again, what I mean by that is you have to want to satisfy your mate. Okay? That's the first step. Be interested in your mate. Be willing to satisfy them. Be willing to find out what satisfies them. And be able to communicate what satisfies you. And that's when it can get complicated. Because some people just don't know how. Well, one way to let the other person know what you want is to just be direct. Some people may think the direct effect is a little crisp. But I think the direct effect gets results because that person knows what you want and they can now give it to you, and vice versa. Now, let's be honest. In some cases, it's easier said than done, and I would not try to mislead you. While that person may want to satisfy you, quite simply, they may not be able to. That poses another problem, and that's something you'll have to address too. I would not say that you could end up or be with the wrong person. That's something you'll have to decide. And one of those decisions, a part of trying to decide if you're with the right person to satisfy you, is to also make sure that you're doing your part as well. You see, two people involved in the relationship, okay, especially if you are lovers, that means that it takes both of you to satisfy each other. And if you are both willing to do that, then everything should be fine. If you're not, well, once again, that's where the problems come in. You got to be willing to satisfy your mate, and you have to take satisfying them seriously. If you can't do it or won't do it, well, then you're going to obviously get off to, I would say, not a good start. Also, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, are you doing all that you can do, and are they doing all that they can do to satisfy you? Because once again, the realities are sometimes we are just not with the right lovers. I know what you're saying, but that's just the simple truth. Emotions can only play a small role. You can love a person, you can care about a person, but the sexual part, well, that's kind of outside of that. Now, I know in some cases it's not. Some people may say, well, hey, you love that person, you want to go the extra mile to satisfy them, and that is true. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in some cases, if you've done all that you can and it's still not working, then it may be some other issues. And you'll have to address those. Listen, once again, I can't get in depth about the whole sex thing. And the reason this is called the simple and plain truth is quite honestly because we tried to get to the simple and plain truth. But what I'm trying to do here is give you a brief insight. Once again, if you want to know more, get my book, How to Solve 99% of Life's Problems by Donald R. McKinney. You can find it at Amazon.com. As well, I have several other books there that are just good reads. There's also one called How to Be 99% Happy in Any Relationship. And that also talks about sex, co-workers, yourself even. Because sometimes to be happy, one has to be happy with themselves. But that's another story. Well, once again, that is the simple, plain truth by Donald R. McKinney. Once again, you can find my books at Amazon.com. And we'll be back again to discuss some more issues about life. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.